Can you see my screen? My name is Sara. I'm the communication officer at EurOcean, and I would like to welcome all. And I will present first on the EU4Ocean Coalition. So EurOcean is organizing this webinar in the scope of the EU4Ocean coalition. That this is a series of webinars on the role of ocean literacy in the blue economy. And we are proud to be a founding member of the EU4Ocean coalition, working alongside with other organizations to unite people across Europe in boosting ocean literacy. So the EU4Ocean Coalition is a bottom-up initiative funded by the European Commission in 2020, and this coalition is a vibrant and inclusive community working to promote ocean literacy across Europe and make ocean sustainability a shared goal for all. The coalition initiatives include 3 communities: the EU4Ocean platform, which connects over 180 members for collective impacts. The Youth4Ocean that supports young ocean advocates, and the EU Blue Schools, which engage educators and students. As you can see, the coalition is becoming an example of the most robust enabling mechanism for awareness and citizen participation in Europe, with several activities running all over Europe. And what key support EU4Ocean Coalition can offer to strengthen ocean literacy in Europe? So members can share experience through events, workshops, and resources. The coalition advocates for ocean literacy in European Union policy, supporting campaigns and high-level events. It also helps translate ideas into action, with opportunities for partnerships, training, and support for young ocean advocates. And by partnering with organizations such IUC UNESCO, and guided by an advisory board, EU4Ocean aligns with key initiatives like the annual challenge of the year. Finally, the members can gain visibility through events and awards, contributing to a united ocean literacy movement. We encourage you to be part of this movement and connect with EU4Ocean through this email. I will put later in the chat, and through the LinkedIn that you can scan this and contact us directly and be part of this coalition. Thank you, and I will give the floor now to Gary Katz, that is our moderator during this webinar, to introduce himself and our speakers for today. Gary.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. It's a great pleasure to be here and a great pleasure to be moderating this session. So firstly, I'd like to thank you, the team at EurOcean, and the whole platform of EU4Ocean. It's a really fantastic initiative, and I would encourage anybody watching to get involved and see what activities and opportunities are involved in the EU4Ocean. A wonderful experience. So yes, as Sarah said, my name is Gary Kett. I'm a multidisciplinary marine ecologist. I'm based here in the Centre for Interdisciplinary Marine and Environmental Research, or CIMAR, in Porto in the north of Portugal. My current areas of expertise are in marine litter management, sustainable solutions, stakeholder engagement, and network building. But prior to this, I held the post of the All Atlantic Ocean Youth Ambassador for my home country of Ireland. So for a long time, I've been closely involved with engaging communities, different youth groups and early career ocean professionals, and various stakeholders across the blue bioeconomy sector, in particular in terms of aquaculture and fisheries, but really across the whole sector. Ocean literacy and education are incredibly important to me personally and to the wider field. So I'm really excited for today's webinar to see how the intersectionality of blue bioeconomy and ocean literacy can support each other and work together to meet some of the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. So without further ado, I would like to welcome our excellent speakers here today. We'll be starting with Elisabete Costa. So Elisabete Costa is with the Blue Bio Alliance here in Portugal, an advisor and project manager, degree in industrial chemistry and a master's in instrumental analysis, and PhD in sustainable chemistry from the University of Aveiro, combined with the company Alka Plus. Elisabete has developed a strong passion for knowledge and research transfer into the industry, enthusiastic and active promoter of synergies within the blue bioeconomy sector, always fostering partnerships that can contribute to the improvement of methods, processes, and products based on blue biotechnology. So Elisabete is very qualified in this area. She's managing a large diverse network of value chain partners, or mentoring startups, or advising on projects. Her emphasis remains on conscious use of marine bioresources and biotechnology. So Elisabete, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you to give your presentation. I'll remind you gently to try to keep within our 15-minute time slot, and I'll remind you again later if we're getting closer to that time. So when you're ready.
Gary, thank you so much for this kind introduction. And also I would like to thank to EurOcean for the invitation to be here. Talk about blue bioeconomy, blue biotechnology, and indeed deep dive in the concept of ocean literacy that was also very challenging to bring and to bridge the ocean literacy to the blue biotechnology. And so I think you make a quite complete introduction about myself. And before introduce Blue Bio Alliance, I will let you know later on the network that Blue Bio Alliance represents, that makes me be very, very happy to be here also talking about this network and talking about the ecosystem in the blue bioeconomy that we represent. But before, we have to start by the beginning. There is the blue economy concept, and for all of us, the economy and also the development, the exploitation coming from the ocean is very known by the maritime transport, tourism, fisheries. However, we know and we are aware that in all the regions and all the world, we are in a new era of the blue economy when this when is demanded a sustainable exploitation or use of marine bioresources. And so this means that we need to respect the ocean, the biodiversity, and also while promoting the economy and while promoting the environment and the biodiversity. And so in the blue economy, the major sectors or subsectors known that have a highest impact in terms of economy, but also in terms of jobs creation and growth, are for sure fisheries, the tourism, the maritime transport. But a small one, there is the blue bioeconomy, that means or that brings together the marine bioresources and the blue biotechnology, is a minor subsector, but however, it is a subsector where all the sectors with high expression are looking at. We are hoping to have here solutions so to tackle the global challenges that they are facing. And so here you have the concept of the blue economy that I already explained in terms of my own words, but this is the definition that Blue Bio Alliance follows. And just to deep dive now in this context of the blue bioeconomy. When we talk about blue bioeconomy, we talk about sustainability on the production, sustainability on the transformation, on the use, on the giving high value to marine bioresources, but having respect in terms of biodiversity, in terms of the technology that is used, and to bring what? To bring the new products, to bring solutions, to tackle the applications that usually have dependence on the fossil-based products, on more dangerous or more tricky areas, and likewise to bring here these novelties, to bring here the solutions that the market is looking for, not only to serve or to deploy to the subsectors that are directly connected to the blue economy, being new materials for the subsectors that includes the sustainable tourism, the new wings, for example, for the maritime transport, or new materials for the fisheries, or adding value to the waste coming or the side streams coming from the fisheries, but also to other sectors that are not directly connected, that are looking here for the new materials, the new bio-based materials to improve and to change and to give the circularity and the sustainability to these processes. And you have here some of the products that nowadays are coming directly from the whole material that comes from the bioresource, or from different compounds that are extracted, that are obtained applying biotechnology to obtain these different ingredients, these different compounds, or even in the concept of the blue biotechnology, giving here the micro factories, or extracting, such as an example, the enzymes, to afford new products that will tackle and that will serve the market. And so this is the concept. Now we have the concept of the blue economy. Now we enter in our activity, that is the blue bioeconomy and the blue biotechnology. And indeed, we are talking here about products, about solutions, but the starting point are indeed the marine bioresources. And not only the most common and the commercial that we know, like the fish, the seaweeds, even the microalgae, but also other microorganisms that can be used per se, or that can inspire and be here used and mimetized in the lab to bring also these new compounds that will afford the new solutions, the new products that the market is looking for. And then for sure we have here all the process, all the technology that is needed, since we are talking about an area when we need technology, a deep tech area that depends strongly in marine bioresources, but also depends in technology, in equipments, in facilities. And then the applications that most traditional and the new ones following the new trends that include the formulations for feed, foods, new compounds, new source of protein in terms of nutraceutics, new compounds or new bioactive compounds for cosmetics, for cosmeceutics, for health, for well-being, and also for wastewater treatment, other industries such as textiles, such as plastics, and everyone is looking, and we have nowadays solutions that could tackle these markets. Indeed, the first example that is known, it was extracted from a sponge, and this was the first compound that gave rise to an application, a product, citarabine, for the pharma. And usually, and during a long time, the pharma was one of the main applications regarding the use and the bioprospecting when we talked about the marine bioresources. However, the following and the years after this knowledge. We know and we are aware these are Portuguese products, but in your homes for sure that you have contact or that you use some of the products that indeed have compounds extracted from seaweeds, have compounds extracted from the fish. And so the blue biotechnology is near our lives, is near our everyday life and the products that we usually use. But with the global pressure and the global challenges that if we 2 years or even 5 years ago, we were thinking of how to feed the population that we are going to be in 2050, with the new demands, with this compromise, with the climate crisis, with the compromise to tackle the pollution that we have, indeed the marine litter, the microplastics that we have in the oceans, looking for an healthy ocean, but also with the new trends, this demand on preserve, on conserve the biodiversity, the blue biotechnology needs to go faster, and indeed goes faster in deploying solutions that could afford the products and the processes and the knowledge that is needed to tackle all these global challenges that for you, for sure, are familiar even in other contexts. So this could be a game just to understand or to find out which of these products, according all these demands, are using marine bioresources, but since I have only 15 minutes, I would say that all of them, in fact, are products in the market that came from the use as a full or as an ingredient of marine bioresources, not only seaweeds, microalgae combined with other materials, but also scales, so the side streams, cutoffs, and coming from the fish processing or other industries directly connected in this transformation of the marine bioresources. And so we talked about the demand on technology that is needed to transform these products. We talked about the bioprospection. When we need marine bioresources, we talk about the sustainable way how to produce these marine bioresources. But indeed, when we talk about each marine bioresource, we talk about different value chains because we are talking about different resources, but also different technologies to afford different products. And we have here in this value chain lots of and quite diverse value chains. And this means that also we have different players. And to give voice indeed to all these different players that come from those that are making this research, those that are transforming this research in business, those that are uptaking these solutions using, and those that are transforming it and putting it into the market or give here support. Just to give rise to all of these players, Blue Bio Alliance was indeed created in 2015. When the first projects in Portugal coming from academia, because we are talking about science-based and technology-based solutions and businesses, started to create the new business and to show what they were doing, to communicate what they were doing. Blue Bio Alliance was created in that year. The next year, we will make 10 years with the same mission until today, that is to promote this network. If we promote this network to bring here and to facilitate this conversation and this dialogue, that it is not usually easy for startups and for R&D projects to talk with the industry and to the industry tell the academia and the startups what they are looking for, and also show what the market is looking for to all of them. We are here every day promoting this network. Indeed, we also communicate, we also promote here because other constraints for this type of projects for sure is looking for funding, because they are really dependent in marine bioresources, but also in technology. And so we bridge and we connect all of them as much as we can with investors, with public funding. Also, we communicate what they are doing in a proper way. We try, but this is something that we will explore later on, and was great to explore also this in the context of the ocean literacy. But where I want to put more effort here is what we usually do to bring the network, but also to promote the innovation and the entrepreneurship, or that means the capacity building of the projects coming from academia, the students that are now facing the enter into the market that needs to decide or to have an option regarding the blue skills, and also bringing here what the industry is looking for, and they don't have time to look for, and so they talk with us so that we can look for these solutions that are in the market, and also fostering the growth of the startups and the small and medium enterprises, and helping them to grow and to go to the market and to the internationalize and show them to the world. So you have here some of the actions. I won't deep dive in them, then we can explore, and if you have interest, I could highlight here the programs that we have for ideation that goes near the students and help them to have more skills in terms of creating a business or transferring the knowledge that they are producing, acceleration regarding the growth of startups, but also proof of concepts, where we hear the challenges of the big companies and we look into the market and bring the solutions that are in the market in contact with these big companies, and the webinars, also the mentoring, that it is also very, very appreciated, and we have an extensive networking with mentors that pro bono give support and like to give support to those that are looking for to enter in this blue biotechnology world. And so in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship, I have here some of the actions already mentioned. We go there through the projects, the public funding as well, that we obtain, Blue Bio Alliance obtained to develop these actions. So one of them, I talked about infrastructures. One of the biggest difficulties that startups and even the projects at universities face are the demand in terms of funding to test and to demonstrate what they are doing. So at the Blue Bio Alliance, we have the Blue Demo Network, where we have facilities, equipments, and marine bioresources, so that can support all these projects. Then,
ou vale a pena? Por causa do trânsito e dessas coisas todas.
Sorry, Rita, sorry, can you turn off the sound, please? Thank you.
Sorry,
Okay, so
continue, Elisabete. One minute, please, to wrap up.
1 minute only.
If you can, please.
No, I can. In 1 minute, I cannot, but I will show this is an example of looking at the industry and trying to look for the solutions that are in the market. And then another project that we have fostering here to promote the skills, the blue skills near the students coming from academia. And this is the team that we have. And in terms of network, the members that we represent. And this is Blue Bio Alliance, so a network of different players coming from startups, large companies, associations, R&D centers, and entities giving support. In terms of what we have, mostly are startups and small and medium enterprises working directly with marine bioresources. But, however, we have here other projects working in different areas according to the new demands, such as the artificial intelligence, forecasting, also infrastructures. And here This is to make the bridge to the topic that is the ocean literacy, and I will ask only for 2 minutes because I need to showcase. This was the deep dive of this presentation. And indeed, I want to talk about this because this was a learning for me, the 7 principles of the ocean literacy, and it was really interesting to find here so many bridges with what we have in the blue biotechnology. And so I have here in blue, you can go deeper and try to understand also why I have this in blue, but just let you know, we talk about biodiversity, about ocean preservation, about monitorization. And indeed, in the blue biotechnology, we have these 8, but all of them can directly or not directly connect, being the sustainable use of marine organisms, being here trying to tackle the pollution, bringing here ocean literacy and awareness to the population, to the society, so that can uptake the solutions that are coming from the market. And indeed, just these case studies where we can put this in a nutshell. And we talked about the monitorization, the quality of the ocean that we have. And indeed, we have solutions for the monitorization, also for the aquaculture, for example, putting infrastructures and trying to bring here a sustainable way to produce fish, and not only, also seaweeds. Then when we look at each of the marine bioresources, you see here the different applications that I already mentioned and the ways that we can use technology to transform them in the product and the solution that the market is looking for. The same with microalgae, and we have here the same applications, but also new, such as the wastewater treatment. The same for the fish, where we have aquaculture to produce in a sustainable way fish, but also we have solutions that could bring here the circularity and bring new materials to the market. And the restoration also, having the ocean literacy, such a pressure in the, or interest in the conservation. We have also solutions for restoration and also bringing to tackle the pollution. So bringing here new lives and new added value to the marine litter. And so from the ocean we have until the healthy and also productive ocean that we want, we consider, or we think that indeed blue biotechnology and the blue bioeconomy is very, very near the ocean literacy aims. And indeed, here are the 3 topics that I will let you and we can explore also during the Q&A session. But for sure, we talk about awareness, about how to communicate. We talk about the sustainable use of marine bioresources, and we talk about bringing this collaboration together, R&D centers, academia, industry, but also the society. And so then we will talk a little bit where is the gap and where we can cooperate. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you, Elisabete, for that deep dive into the intersection between blue biotechnology and what you're doing with the Blue Bio Alliance. So we'll quickly move through, and we'll try to give the same amount of time to Katerina Kousoulaki, who will be the next presenter, and then we'll try to keep some time for questions and answers at the end. So Katerina, same story. I'll give you a warning at 2 minutes, and then again at 1. So Katerina, for anyone who doesn't know, is a senior researcher in nutrition at Nofima in Norway with the Department of Nutrition and Feed Technology. With nearly 29 years of research experience in the aquaculture industry at small and large research institutes. An active researcher participating and leading in academic and applied research projects. Currently, I believe the coordinator of the bio-based industries project Horizon Aqua Bio Profit, I believe. Her main areas of expertise are nutrition, aquaculture production, physiology, appetite regulation, marine ingredients, including microalgae downstream processing, and feed technology. So, Katerina, it's a great pleasure to have you, and welcome. When you're ready, you may start your presentation, and
Yes.
I'll give you a gentle reminder for the time as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So you can hear me. Thank you for the introduction. Aqua Bio Profit is a recently concluded project. Now we are working in several others, which I will only briefly mention. So my agenda today is to go inside the work of realizing the blue bioeconomy by giving you some examples on the exploration and exploitation of aquaculture and fisheries sites biomass, and the businesses that can use this kind of biomass in order to implement the blue bioeconomy. And also I will discuss our strategies in communication and enhancing ocean literacy with stakeholders. So I'm based in Nofima in Bergen in Norway. Nofima is a large institute that is working basically on all aspects related to the bioeconomy, both the blue and the green, and is a food research institute, including fisheries and aquaculture. And when it comes to the fisheries and aquaculture, that is a part of my talk today, I want to start from the beginning saying that we are well aware that most of the fisheries stocks are overfished or maximally fished to the limit of sustainability. Therefore, we should not fish anymore. We should actually fish less. But then how will we provide the protein and the high quality omega-3 fatty acids that we need for the increasing populations? That will not be by increasing the fishery. This sector needs to actually reduce and what is performed to be performed sustainably and according to legal quota. So that's one thing. But what is important when it comes to fisheries and aquaculture, of course, which is providing this increase in seafood production, is to look into these non-food uses of fisheries and aquaculture. So the non-food uses of fish should actually, as much as possible, return to our food table in the most economic and sustainable ways. So there are wastes by fisheries that are not able to use the byproducts because they are far from land, like the cod fisheries. But also when we are consuming the fish that we're producing, either by aquaculture or fisheries, we are not consuming the whole fish. We are eating at the best the fish gutted or only fillets with skin or without skin. So what is happening to the rest? The rest is going, if we buy a whole fish from the food market, is going probably to the garbage or to our pets. It can go if it's industrially coordinated, as is done in, for example, in the salmon industry. It will end up in pet food, which is also a premium pet food because it is recognized, these ingredients, as high quality, but it will mostly end up as fish feed. So even when the byproducts are used from the aquaculture and fisheries, they end up as fish feed, which means they increase the levels of the difference between, so the distance between this ocean and us by an extra level, which is the aquaculture levels, and then there are losses of nutrients and energy. So what we also want to do is, of course, decrease the amounts of side streams of byproducts that end up as fish feed, so fish meal and fish oil. And what will we feed our aquaculture species then? We should feed them other ingredients, but they have to be as nutritious as the golden standard fish meal and fish oil. We should use local and low trophic species as a strategy to avoid over-harvesting of marine fisheries, but also still using the ocean. So we should harvest the nutrients that are released into our oceans by low trophic organisms, such as filter feeding tunicates or blue mussels, for example, or other bivalves. We should harvest and use microalgae and also microalgae for heterotrophic or phototrophic, and also worms, polychaete worms. And fermentation is another, of course, method that we are using to produce biomass based on low trophic inputs. So these are sectors where Nofima and personally as a research are very heavily involved. So we are using tunicates both as feed, but also producing a meat analog, which is used, for example, to produce tunicate burgers. And wherever tunicates are, they clean the water. You can see that this blur green brown water that can become as nice and blue as this one. It's produced here in the north, and by your partners, and they have also produced the umami, tunicate umami, which was also a very popular product. So this was just one of the examples I will talk about. I just mentioned here, but all of the other ingredients we are using currently in trials, mostly as feed ingredients for the aquaculture, but also as much as possible as food as well. But this part of fisheries and aquaculture, we want to bring it back to ourselves, to our food products, without having to pass via aquaculture. And why? Because these are very nutritious raw materials, but also are perishable. So there are a lot of challenges that force logistics and economics to channel these ingredients to animal feeds. So we can make, as for many years it's been used to make the omega-3 supplements, for example, the oil from the cod livers. But this can be produced also from other ingredients. So, for example, mackerel trimmings are already used, and also via the collaboration that we had with a large company producing fish meal and fish oil, moving towards food first and creating a biorefinery plant to extract the oil and make capsules with omega-3 concentrates for human consumption by this ingredient. And this would be the first ones that will be produced and are produced now currently in their pilot factory from European fish and not from Peruvian fisheries in Chile. So such examples are we already working on. And the second thing that we can produce is protein, so pure protein. Here you see one of my colleagues holding a plate with pure marine collagen. Collagen is another product that is very popular for athletes, for bone strength and health, and is a very rich protein that can be produced from fish skins and bones. We can use different hydrolysates made from side streams, again from fish, very nutritious proteins and with minerals and vitamins, to produce also powders that we can use inside fish soups, in fish burgers, and these are already done. But there are some challenges, and there are, I think, logistic issues and knowledge gaps in order to be able to implement this to a high enough degree to absorb the enormous biomass coming from fisheries and aquaculture. And this pure marine collagen is a product that has been developed also via our collaboration with Sea Garden, a company here using only byproducts to make food nutritional supplements for humans. So if we manage to do that, if we manage to utilize the aquaculture and fishery side stream, which amount to over 6 million tons, then we will save a huge amount of CO2 equivalents every year. So this is absolutely worth doing. So without having to create, without having to do anything else other than change the use of an existing biomass, we will save, we will create positive effects to the environment. But there are challenges. There can be technical challenges, including these new ingredients in the food, which we have found. There can be sensoric challenges. So these ingredients, they have an intense fishy taste. And they're also, as I say, perishable, which can then create other rancidity taste. So there is a lot of knowledge that is being created and is applied in order to be able to enable the use of these rich ingredients into food first, by this way enhancing the sustainability of both aquaculture and fisheries. So if I have any minutes, I will just show you how we can do that. There are pilot plants either in lab scale and small pilot scale. This is where I am. This is me and my colleagues. And also in larger pilot scales that actually companies can come and start and develop their production and see how the results are before they build their own factory. So pilots are important. So how do we work with these funny, difficult ingredients? First, we have to cook them in a way to use enzymes. So biotechnology is very important in this process because they are difficult ingredients. We need to be able to, we have to go into biorefinery principles. We need to separate the different phases, and we have to separate the different products and stabilizing it and characterizing properly. So here you can see my colleague Tuna Aspevik. I think she's watching this meeting, and other colleagues collecting. So how we work, we go to the actual factories of the pelagics and collecting the side stream biomass, which will become fish meal in the case of Norway, and then working in the lab, in the pilots to create the powders for human consumption. We have been doing this work through COVID. That's me again. And what we are doing is to try to improve the sensory properties. We have expert panels, and you have to use equipment, filtration equipment, to be able to remove compounds that are not pleasant. So, and this is very important. It's easy to relate to the fact that something very fishy will not be very popular for your kids, for example. So it is important to try to remove as much as possible the fishy taste. But also, you have to show that they are very nutritious. And we say they're very nutritious, and people say fish is healthy. But really, there is lacking quite a lot of documentation and easy to pass over documentation. So because there are the research papers and then are the popular articles. And I'll show you a little bit how we are working. So we had the clinical trials with...
Katerina, sorry, I might interrupt you. Can we just give it one or two more minutes?
One more
just
minute.
To wrap up? Yeah, perfect.
Yes, I will. So what we are doing is doing a clinical trial using products, right? And because when you communicate lab trials, they are very difficult to grasp. But when we communicated trials in athletes, that actually turned some heads. When you communicate gene expressions, very difficult to grasp for people. Or mice trials, even better, but still very difficult. But when we went to a health clinic and we actually had clinical trials with humans, then they said we want more of that because they saw the positive effects, both in men and human. Microbiome, a lot of research on that and how bioactive all the algae and the fish are. But before we went to the psychiatrists, and they actually showed by accepted research that their patients, they actually had 30% improvement in the anxiety and depression. Then they said, where is this product? We said, eat fish, but it's not that easy. So we are running a lot of additional projects like the Blue Ways in the Blue Sustainable Economy Partnership, where we will make toothpaste and skincare products, bread, supplements against male infertility. We have the Valorish project, where we will make from side streams, again from fisheries, vitamins and other products for human consumption. The Algae Probanos project, where again we're making different products from seaweed and from microalgae. And we are working to show that ocean can improve human health. And if we can effectively communicate this with all our partners and all our projects and our channels, as for example, our e-learning platforms, which we have had in these two projects, Aquavita Co-Profit. We work with children, and we even present our results to our crown prince. then you see the heads turn. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Very, very interesting presentation. We can go back to a regular screen. Two very interesting presentations. Thank you so much for such exciting insight into both of your fields. We have about just over 10 minutes left for questions. So we have, if anybody in the audience would like to enter some into the Q&A box, please do. So we have one from Ruth already. We'll get to that. But firstly, I'd just like to maybe cover, I'm going to lump two questions into one here. So from a lot of what we've talked about today, we're talking about sustainable resource exploitation from the sea, managing our resources sustainably, harvesting products or processes and trying to utilize them into marketable new items, new products for the economy. But of course, we have to balance that with managing and educating and informing about unsustainable resource exploitation. So I think this is really where the intersection of ocean literacy and blue bioeconomy will come in. How do you best suppose, Elisabete, we can start with you. How do you best suppose we can work to build more synergies between the two communities, ocean literacy, blue biotechnology, or EU business in general? What areas do we need to be focusing on in terms of what can the ocean literacy community give to blue biotech, vice versa? What can blue biotech bring to ocean literacy? How can we start to work towards a more unified approach so information is accessible, digestible, and easy to access? So if you can answer that in 2 minutes, I'd be very impressed.
Yes, this could be a conversation for also 1 hour, but from the point of view of the blue biotechnology, since we also include the sustainability, is not so difficult to make these connections. But even though I think that from the ocean literacy point of view, when we talk about conservation, when we talk about biodiversity, we also have to put into the table that for the startups, that for the industry, that for this change in the process that we want to decouple from the fossil-based one to new solutions, we also need marine bioresources. And so in this balance, because we know that we can produce in a sustainable way, but also from the regulatory point of view, there are lots of constraints between countries, between regions. And so here, I think that together we can make an effort also to preserve, but also allow or promote the business that these startups that are for R&D, that for the big companies that need scale, need. And so we need bioresources. And the other, from our point of view, or in terms of pain, it's to communicate with the society, because in terms of pains, the startups are developing, and indeed, Katerina show the process per se, each stage that is needed from the research until to have a product, without enter then the value chain of the trial to find the bioactivity and so on. And here, this is for a startup what they face every day. So, because we are talking about technology, deep tech, and in this case, we need, or we know they need that the general public, that the consumers could find these products and understand that they exist, and understand that maybe they have to pay more because we are starting here a new era, but we need to have this space. And in the communication also of what is being done, of what exists, mainly with the society, because we know that the gaps between the universities, the startups, and the companies and the industry exists. Here you have also space, but here I think that we can manage or speak or try to speak the same language. Where we need or where we face more difficulties, even when we organize workshops, when we organize events to bring together the different people and hear the different, is in terms of society, of associations, of the society, the civil entities. And so I think here you could have more active or help us to bring, and also the communication, because I am also a scientist and I communicate as a scientist as well, and sometimes we also need help in this point of view.
Perfect. Thank you for that very comprehensive answer. Sarah, I'll leave you got in there now, and then Katerina, maybe if you could give a similar if we have time.
We have some questions from the participants in the Q&A. Gary, if you want to address them too.
Yes. Yeah, I see here. Great.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Let's get to those as well. A quick one there from Ruth, actually, while you're still online, while your mic's still active, Elisabete. We mentioned about the 7 ocean literacy principles and the blue bioeconomy principles.
This is a
We
great
incorporate
exercise.
those.
This
Yeah.
is a great exercise because I think most of them, as I was deep diving, we have here the concerns about the conservation, about the marine bioresources, about the monetization, maybe this knowledge or this acceptance in terms of regulation and of knowledge of what the blue biotechnology can afford it, and that is also considering that we have a sustainable way to produce or to use the marine bioresources. But we can think about this, yes, this could be a good exercise, yes.
Fantastic. So Katerina, and then we'll move on to we have a raised hand in the audience and one more question from the Q&A. So Katerina, if you could maybe sum up your thoughts on that as well, the main synergies that we need to be building between ocean literacy and the blue economy. How specifically do we engage with other companies, with new stakeholders, new audiences? How do we get that message across that sustainable resource management is what we need to be doing, is good for the economy, good for our society, while managing better our unsustainable resources?
Yes, well, out of my position as a researcher, I can only communicate my results, and but what we can choose is the way, of course, we communicate, and also we can choose our activities, and also we can choose how to manage and how to design projects that include stakeholders across the value chain. So this will both include the community and the businesses in the project, other than working closed in our laboratories. And this is something we have done, for example, with a project we call the Millennial Salmon Project, where we start from farming the salmon all the way from the feed production. The farmers are there, the processors in France, the supermarket in France, consumers are asked in a study, focus studies. So in this project, we heard a lot of it. Actually managed to gain so much attention and interest by a lot of people. And we could also put across our thoughts and our findings. And the most important thing that I see in how we structure our research is to do it in a way that the consumers and the stakeholders and the businesses will trust us, because they need to trust that what we are saying has a value. They can believe in it, and they can listen to it without the noise. So how can they listen to you, what you have to say, in this huge noise that comes from all the media around you, and also from all the thousands of researchers and research articles that are produced. So you need to have a clear message, and also you have to be trustworthy yourself. You have to show that the way you're working, you take into account the most important parameters that are valid for all the value chain.
Thank you. Perfect. And speaking of trust, Elisabete, are you working with the Blue Bio Alliance? I might rephrase the question from the audience here, from Mariana Almeida. Thank you very much for your question. Jeff, how do we engage, in a paraphrase, how do we engage these other stakeholders, these other companies, to contribute to ocean literacy efforts. So as we were just saying, Katerina, building trust, establishing a good relationship between our audiences of various types, be it consumers or wider society or companies. Has there been any tools or techniques that you've found throughout your work that have really amplified some of these relationships and helped you to get a message across in a clear way? If you have a quick thought on that.
So in terms of actions of the tools, I had presented some of them, but I could hear let us food for thoughts what happens. So as I believe that everyone here, we are part of projects that we work, we organize workshops, we organize webinars, we organize seminars, we send surveys, and then where from the point of view of Blue Bio Alliance and what we try to do is then, because we have a network to manage that brings R&D, brings the first steps of putting a business into the market, but we have also big companies that trust in the solutions that we are going to present or that we are presenting to them. And so for us, we need to understand all the languages. And it is why also here it is needed a multidisciplinary team, but also from our side to have this scientific knowledge, to have the business knowledge, to speak the different languages so that we can sometimes translate what one is saying and the other is needing or hearing. And then this is a strategy that we have, is try to tackle the challenges, hearing the pains, hearing the opportunities, and putting them together. But in terms of workshops, of the actions that we are organizing, is then to have a feedback, to have a real feedback, a real situation, a real result. If a company tell us, I am looking for formulations for my process because I have to accomplish sustainability goals next year and I want to change. So to start in a small volume for a specific application, but we want. And then we go to the market and we are going to look for the solutions, and we are presenting the solutions regarding what he's looking for, not what he's not looking for, because he won't have the time to explore the market and talk with the solutions that cannot tackle what he's looking for. And so this is how we get the trust of our network, is not only organize the events, but also have some results, some real results, and bring the answer or bring the solution that they are looking for. Is not easy. Sometimes it's not easy, and we cannot afford to everyone. So from our experience, this is working. But in this network that mostly we represent, regarding the society, as I was telling, for example, for our workshops, since we don't collaborate directly with them, it is much more difficult to hear what they are looking for or the way they can engage, or even what they are looking for or what are the thoughts that they may have. And so here we have a gap. We have a gap also between the business and the society. From our experience, in terms of the business and academia, R&D, and other entities that are directly connected with this network, for us, this is our strategy, is try to speak a language or try to help them to speak the same language, because we know that a researcher don't speak the same language that someone that has a company do, and sometimes it's difficult to present or to show what he is doing, or sometimes it's difficult also doing some research and trying to understand that the research that they are doing or developing can tackle another challenges that a company may have. So it's only to turn something that could deploy the solution that the market is needing. And so I don't know if I gave here some insights, but from our point of view and our experience is how we do it.
Yes, I think you wrapped that up quite succinctly. I think this is a real key area where ocean literacy can really benefit us, because it's not just ocean literacy informing the society, but we as scientists and as academia can really benefit from learning new tools of communication, new ways to get our message across, and new ways to really engage with each other and across the sectors. I wish we had more time for questions, but I don't think we do. I know that I have many more myself. There are some comments from the Q&A that we can address, but I believe I'd be right in saying that the video for this will be uploaded on the EurOcean YouTube channel, so that will have an open comment section, so we can continue on the discussion there. Hopefully, I know I'll be on it anyway, so we can continue having some more of these discussions, more audience questions. Also, on the registration page for this webinar, you'll have the LinkedIn's and contact information for the speakers here. So that's in response to Alessandra's comment there. You will be able to contact us and get in touch and continue this on. So I'll leave it up to Sarah to wrap up if you want to say any closing remarks, and thank you very much for the opportunity to moderate.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, I would like to thank to Elisabete, Blue Bio Alliance, and to Nofima, to Katerina, and to you, Gary, for this 1 hour very interesting webinar, and hope to see you all soon. And thank you for the participants to listen to us.